Welcome back, everyone. It's here. And today I've got some r/BestOf for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading you the posts, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. This post was collected by Choice Evidence 1983, and their tagline is, "It dawned on me that he was a wizard." The original OP is Karma Be Bitchin', posted to r/Am I the Asshole, January 29th, 2026. Am I the asshole for being proud that I went off on my little sister's fiance in glorious fashion? Hi, this is a throwaway account, and all the names have been omitted. My little sister is getting married, and I can't stand the man she intends to subject us to for the next 6 months or so. That's generous. My sister is 25, her fiance is 26, and on the cunty scale, he comes in at a whopping thunder. This fucking guy has no business being at large in any community anywhere. Anytime there could be a woman present, he has backwards opinions about women and women's rights. My sister, whom I thought was really intelligent, seems oblivious to it. Or even worse, just going along with it because he's semi-attractive and has a decent job. That's speculation, but I genuinely could not find a single redeeming quality in this piece of shit. Here's a couple of examples. 1. My sister loves to travel. She planned a trip with her best gal pal to Greece because he's afraid to fly. He found out, got mad that she'd take a trip with someone that's not him. She reminded him that he's afraid of flying. He told her that if she loved him, she'd cancel the trip, that she'd already paid for, and stay home with him. She called me to tell me that she was upset, and I told her to tell him to fuck off and go on the trip anyway. She canceled the trip instead. 2. My sister loves her job and her boss. Fucking unheard of. And after they're married, she wants to go back to school to get her PhD because her company will pay for it. That's great. Any loving partner would celebrate that as a win for them and their future family, right? Wrong. He said that when they're married, her focus should be him and the kids. And she agreed to stay home for a little while, but said she'd like to go back to work and eventually school. He told her that if that's what she wants, then she's not going to be a good mother, or the type of mother he wants for his children. I told her to tell him to get fucked. She said they put a pin in it. 3. My sister is beautiful and she's always been confident in her looks. But since dating fuckface, she's become super self-conscious. Nothing she does is good enough for him. She's always asking, "Do you think fiancé will like this?" Or saying stuff like, "I don't think he'd like me wearing this or doing that or talking about whatever." And I'm like, fuck that guy, what do you want? It's just a handful of examples, and I had been pretty good about biting my tongue around him for my sister's benefit and in the interest of not causing a scene. But my god, if I didn't have a hell of a time ripping this guy a new asshole yesterday, it was delicious. Some of my best work, and I shouldn't be proud as I'm an adult, and I know there was a better way to handle it, but here's the gist. He said to my sister something to the effect of, "I thought we decided we weren't wearing that dress anymore because it makes you look like a streetwalker." My sister didn't respond, but she saw me see the interaction and begged me with her eyes not to intervene. But alas, I couldn't. I could not. So I did not. And I said, "Oh, motherfucker. I know I did not just hear you telling my sister what she can and cannot wear." He was taken aback, because, how dare a woman speak to a man in such a manner? His poor, delicate little man soul couldn't handle it. But he doubled down and said, "This is between me and my fiancé, mind your own business." And I let go the fucking floodgates on this bitch. I verbally fucking castrated this guy. I don't even remember it all. I must have blacked out. I only recall the very end when I said something like, "I swear to the fucking gods, if I ever hear you say some dumbass misogynistic shit like that to my sister again, I will tear your ballsack from your body and shove it so far down your throat that your ancestors spit blood." I may have also insulted his V-neck, called his tribal tattoo the symbol for douche, and said his mother left him because she'd had a vision of what an embarrassment he'd become as an adult with free will. He walked away and pouted for the rest of the day. My sister called me later and said that I shouldn't have made a scene, that I took it too far, that I really upset him and should apologize. I told her I would apologize to him when he apologized to her for demanding she give up her aspirations and happiness for his benefit. Am I the asshole has no consensus bot? OP was not the asshole. Relevant/top comments. Commenter 1. Not the asshole and excellent. Good for you. Your sister really needs an intervention. Where are your parents in all of this? OP responds, Mom, Dad, and brother hate him too. We've all, in the past before this incident, attempted to gently advise her, but she can be a little hard-headed and tends to do the opposite of what you say. But they're worried, and we're all working on it. We're hoping she'll come to her senses. She's genuinely the smartest chick I know, so we're hopeful that she'll figure it out sooner rather than later. Commenter 2. Ask your sister why she wants to marry a man who doesn't support her ambition. Ask her why she wants to marry a misogynistic troll. Ask her if she feels supported by him. Ask her if she feels respected in this relationship. Ask if she can truly love a man who treats her like a bangmaid, then provides a quiz to love his respect. Is your relationship healthy? Send her this quiz and try to get her to do it. LP responds, thank you for this. Genuinely. Commenter 3, not the asshole. You're seeing the red flags your sister is choosing to ignore. She's not oblivious. She's likely minimizing the controlling behavior because she already invested and he's semi-attractive and has a decent job. The real issue isn't his general backwards opinions, but that the examples you cite show massive controlling and ownership issues, prohibiting travel with a friend due to his insecurity. You didn't go off on him for no reason. You hit the emergency brake on a speeding truck headed towards your sister's future misery. Your pride is justified. If he's already isolating her from basic friends trips, imagine what marriage will look like. Keep standing firm. Commenter 4, not the asshole. Sister needs to wake up. He'll trap her. She will not be staying home for a little while. Once she has no job and has birthed his kids, it'll be much, much harder to get out, and she will never be free of him if they share kids. Update, February 1st, 2026, 3 days later. Hi, me again. I have an update, not yet sure how to link, trying to figure that out, but first, thank you for all your comments. You guys are fucking funny. Yes, I loved all the references. The Snatch reference had me rolling. And I now realize that my husband and I really need a hobby that's not TV. Holy shit. Anyway, whoever posted that quiz, I want you to know you're the real MVP. It worked wonders. I wish you nothing but happiness and prosperity for the reminder of your time on this earth. I just came to vent and genuinely didn't expect anything constructive to come out of it, so I felt obligated to let you all know what transpired, and then I'll happily forget this login and password forever. And no, I'm not AI. If the term thunder is in AI's vernacular, I'm happy to let it take over. In fact, I'd argue that humanity's work here is completely done. Just saying. No, you don't want that. Anywho, my family are very close. We have breakfast together pretty much every Sunday. My mom calls it church, and she demanded that no children be present for this week's service. Last time she demanded that, we were taking away Grandpa's car keys so he couldn't forget to put it in park and allow it to casually drift into his neighbor's tulips. Again, he cried. So I had a feeling Mom was gearing up for an aggressive discussion with sister's fiance. Mom made cinnamon rolls, a curiously ball-adjacent dish that I regrettably did not have the opportunity to throw at anyone. And Satan knows that cinnamon rolls are best served with a side of, girl, I'm not telling you what to do, but if you know what's best for you, you'll do what I'm saying. I got there early to get a feel for the temperature of the impending discussion. To give you an idea, here are a handful of the paraphrased thoughts Mom and Dad were muttering at one another. Please know my family are all very sarcastic and speak hyperbolically most of the time, and there's no actual malicious intent behind these statements. Don't come for them. Dad, is she too old for a spanking? Mom, I don't know, but our bedroom door locks from the outside. We could keep her in until she comes to her senses. Dad, I could dress like a hooker. That would really stress him out. Mom, let's just regularly drop into the conversation that she has always been smarter and more successful than him. And she will continue to be those things when he's gone, because he is nothing more than a lapse in her historically good judgment. Dad, she really can't expect me to deliver her to this asshat on her wedding day. Seriously, I'm going to ask her that in front of him. Mom, you will have to hurdle my dead body. No one from this family is allowed at that wedding, and that includes the bride. So they had clearly been discussing and planning for a while. Anyway, my sister arrived. Alone. My dad's response, you ask? I see you got the no children memo. My sister's reaction. Well, she started sobbing. Apparently, they got into a fight. Not a physical one, luckily. He's not that particular brand of asshole. He wound up insulting our beautiful cherub of a mother, my father, and me, naturally. So my sister finally sacked up and told him to get the fuck out of her house. Yes, it is her house that she owned prior to dating him. And I was like, my baby's a genius. Problem solved. Wrong. She then went on to say that she was thinking about calling him because she felt bad about how she ended it. When the resounding chorus of boos didn't deter her, I turned to Reddit, and Reddit, this is where you sunk a three-pointer with only seconds left in the fourth. Before she had a chance to continue down the wrong side of the IQ curve, I showed her your comments. I had her take the quiz. I shit you not even 5 questions in, she had to stop because she finally realized what we all have been desperately trying to tell her from the start. He's a thunder. She cried again, and even said that her therapist had started asking her similar questions over the past couple of months, but she had just chalked it up to the one-sidedness of therapy setting, whatever that means. My mom and I gently informed her that her therapist was likely picking up on his questionable behavior too, and we encouraged her to discuss it further with him, and us, if she chose to. Our brother arrived late, but after getting caught up, all he said was, "I'm happy to help you pack his shit and drag it to the curb." So that's what my brother, my dad, and my sister are doing right now. They are also changing locks, codes, passwords, and anything else that might give him access to her/her property in any capacity. My dad does not fuck around with safety, and already texted ex-fiancé and told him when he would be permitted to come collect his things, and that he would be speaking solely with him going forward. Ex-fiancé is definitely pissed, but doesn't have the stones to fuck with our very scary-looking father. So he has agreed to cut communication with my sister entirely. And my brother, who's a paramedic/firefighter, is friendly with a lot of cops, so he made sure to casually mention that as well. Thank you again for the constructive feedback. It genuinely made a huge difference and helped us make sure we could help my sister to see the light and ensure her safety throughout the process. Top comments. Commenter 1. Your mom and dad are funny. I see you got the no children memo. Commenter 2. It's always nice to read things like this, that a bunch of strangers can band together on the internet and do some good for deserving people. It restores a little more of my faith in humanity. Commenter 3. Whew! I'm so glad she found the strength to dump him, and you're such an incredibly supportive family. Now, play it safe for her, if at all possible. Someone should live with her for a while so as to protect her from the possibility that this abusive guy tries to corner her when she gets out or is coming home. Have her read this book. It's enlightening. And they provide a link to Why Does He Do That? Inside the Minds of Angry and Controlling Men by Lundy Bancroft, which we've previously discussed this on this channel. It's a really good resource, and it has a lot of information that kind of can really help people identify some massive red flags and help them see what's really going on in their relationship. Also, as an additional note, on the main channel, which hopefully we'll have a video going live Monday if I get everything in order, I did a video on I'm Sorry, John. It included the line of, "I swear to whatever God you pray to." And no shame to OP, but I find that to be a lot more striking than "I swear to the fucking gods" or "I swear to God," because it implies that you're willing to make a deal with a deity that you don't follow or worship just to go after this person. And I like that. It sits well with me. Like the phrase of, "I swear to whatever God you pray to, I'm going to hit you in the shins with an aluminum bat." This has a lot of energy behind it that I can really get behind. This post was collected by Choice Evidence 1983, and their tagline is, "It dawned on me that he was a wizard." The original OP is Throw RA Friend Test, posted to r/whatshouldido, January 29th, 2026. This one's hot off the iron here. Wait. Hot off the grill? Fresh off the iron? Hot off the press? One of those, probably. My, 35 male, friend, 36 male, loyalty tested my wife, 40 female, without my knowledge. She failed. I feel done with them both. What do I do? Been with my wife 10 years, married for 6. I thought we were really happy. She got a kid from a previous relationship, dad not in the picture. I have taken on the role. We both work, me full-time, her part-time. We live a good life. Holiday abroad every few months, no real financial worries, both in pretty good shape, and plenty of love and affection and sex between us. I thought we'd be together forever. On to my friend. His wife left him in horrific circumstances last year. He came home one day to find her gone with their 2-year-old. She's left him due to a drug dealer she met on Instagram who ended up assaulting them both, and it's a massive legal issue that's destroyed him. Since then, he's become very anti-women despite having a great family full of women. He's constantly telling us how all women are the same, etc. Well, last week he sent me a load of screenshots, must have been over 100 of them, going back to November last year and finishing on January 15th. He got another phone and started messaging my wife, pretending to be a man from a couple of hours away who got the wrong number. Within a week, he was getting nudes from her, sexting, etc. By Christmas, she was telling him she loves him, and the final one was a photo of her walking into a hotel to meet him, and then angry messages from her asking where he was. I went round to his house and was distraught. He told me he'd done this to another 6 friends of ours. Only my wife failed. He had the phone with him, and I was there. She messaged him, asking where he'd gone and saying how much she misses him. He showed me that she'd been sending stuff like that the past week with no response. I left there without really saying anything and went home, and once me and my wife were alone, I confronted her with the evidence I have. She started crying and saying she doesn't know why she did it, and it just started off as a bit of fun at work, and then she got carried away. She said she feels like she loves us both and doesn't want to lose me. I didn't know what to do, so just left and went to a hotel. I'm still here now and unsure of what my next step should be. I want to cut them both off, but I will miss my stepdaughter so much, and my friends are saying I can't be mad at my friend as he did me a favor. Too long didn't read, friend catfished my wife, and she fell for it. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. Well, that's a shit thing that your friend did, but it's more concerning that your wife fell for it. She was going to sleep with this stranger, and to top it off, she's the only one that fell for it out of the other wives. I'll leave it at that. I would love to be a fly on the wall when she finds out your friend catfished her. Opie responds, I think I could get past it if it was just texting, but I can't get past the going to meet him. Commenter 2. Divorce the cheating wife and drop the woman-hating friend before dating again, or he'll do this to you over and over. Opie responds, I think this is the only way I can move on. Commenter 3. Did she know this friend previous to this taking place? Opie responds, yeah, they've met each other hundreds of times. Opie clarifies on if his wife met this friend pretending to be a stranger at the hotel. OP. They didn't meet at the hotel. She went there and he took photos of her from his car. Were there other people involved with catfishing OP's wife, or just this friend? OP responds, he acted alone. OP on his stepdaughter and if he's going to stay in touch with her. OP, she's 15. I'll fight tooth and nail to stay in contact with her. I'm going to meet my stepdaughter this weekend and ask her if we can still maintain a relationship. I miss her so much. I miss getting up and watching stupid cartoons together that her mom doesn't get. I miss us talking about random memes. I miss us shadow fighting. I miss us baking and cooking together. I just miss her so much I can't stop crying. I don't miss my wife at all. How did this friend get all wives' numbers including OP's wife? OP. From a group chat we were all in for a wedding party. Commenter 4. I just can't stop thinking about the level of effort your friend went through to get this. He got another phone, this whole scheme, for months to try to get nudes of his friends' wives. Manipulate her. Like, how sick? As for your wife, I think a divorce is justified. Trust is broken. Unfortunately, this will hurt your stepdaughter. You can maintain a relationship with her, but who knows what her mother will tell her about the reason for divorce. You'll likely lose her too. I'm so sorry. Your friend is garbage and I would cut him off first. OP responds, he stole a man's picture off Twitter as well to pretend to be him. I'm hoping my stepdaughter will still want to see me. OP on the relationship between his wife and his stepdaughter's biological father, and how OP ended up being the dad instead. They were on again, off again, and then when she got pregnant, he moved down to London, never to be seen again. His mom still sees my stepdaughter, but he's never seen her or spoke to her. Update. February 1st, 2026, 3 days later. I want to thank everyone who commented on my last post. There were so many I couldn't reply to them all. I'll address a couple of things from my first post. A lot of people said my wife did nothing wrong. She went to a hotel to meet another man for sex. There are photos of her at the hotel waiting. She messaged me saying she was there, and I purposely haven't had sex with him, meaning me, for ages, so when I get my hands on you, you'll be ripping your clothes off in my own. Then messages of her asking where he is, and even a week later, when he stopped replying, saying she misses him, and pictures of herself, saying how much she still wants him. A few people said my friend wasn't catfishing her, and he was sending photos of himself, and she knew. My friend is white and dumpy. The pictures were of a black adult film star stolen from his Twitter. Now, onto the update. First, and most importantly, I met my stepdaughter yesterday. We met at a park, and when we saw each other, we both started crying and just hugged for 5 minutes. Every memory of her from when I first met her went through my head, and I didn't want to let her go for fear of never hugging her again. We sat on a park bench, and the first thing she asked is what happened. She's 15, and I didn't see a reason to lie. I said her mom got catfished, and she fell for it, and has been having an online affair for a few months, and told another man she loved him. I left out the nudes and hotel bit. My stepdaughter said her mom had told her that all she had done was message an old friend, and I got jealous, but she said she knew I wasn't like that, and her aunt, wife's sister, had told her that her mom had cheated, and I had done nothing wrong. I told her I have hundreds of screenshots, but I won't show them to her. She begged to see one so she could know. I tried to find a non-sexual one and showed her one where her mom said, "I love you more after 10 weeks than I do him after 10 years. My stepdaughter was as horrified as I was and just said, "Oh my God." After that, we sat and talked for a couple of hours about everything. She said she still wants me as a part of her life, and when I get my own place, she'll be over all the time. She said I'm still her dad and always will be, even after I told her I plan to divorce her mom. She said her auntie and her grandma both encouraged her to stay in touch with me because she told them she was scared I didn't want her anymore. I said nothing could be further from the truth. I gave her a lift back home, and we've been texting nonstop since, sending stupid videos to each other, and she said her grandma said we can use her kitchen to bake together again, so we're doing that later today. As for my wife and my friend, I've told my wife I want a divorce, which caused a barrage of texts and phone calls I ignored. I've told my friend I want no contact with him, but I did ask why he didn't stop once he got nudes, and he said, "Because you don't get jealous, and I thought you'd probably just find it funny." Which is probably true. If she told me a wrong number was texting, I probably would say flirt with it for a laugh, lol. I do get people's point though when they say I shouldn't be mad at him, because if it wasn't him, it would have been someone else, but he did target her insecurities. He knew she was insecure about her height and said, "First time I finally meet an Amazonian woman at a bar and we have a good time, she gives me a false number." And he knows she struggles with having an athletic build, and he mentioned his ideal woman would be tall and strong built, and how he doesn't get the trend for short women with big boobs and bums. But at the same time, she's a fucking detective for the police force and should have recognized she was being played. Sorry, it's not an exciting update. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. I read all your comments and you never said in detail, what did your wife say when you told her how your friend catfished her? What was her reaction? Anything besides just crying? Was there disbelief or comments as she continued to try to contact you? OP. She started having a kind of panic attack and calling herself stupid. Then she said it doesn't count then. And I told her it bloody did. She had tried to contact me loads of times every day. Commenter 2. Question. Never heard of being a part-time. You mentioned she doesn't work full-time in the previous post. Detective in the police force. Is that a thing in your country? LP responds. Yeah, she mainly does desk work now. She does 3 full days a week. She's in anti-corruption now, so investigates other officers. Commenter 2. Well, that is just embarrassing, good lord. If her stupidity gets out in her workplace, she won't have a shred of credibility. Already a boys' club. My friend was a detective. She ended up quitting because her full-time hours with massive overtime on cases meant she hardly saw her kids. Think seeing too many murdered little ones also was a factor after becoming a mom. she could compartmentalize to a point before. OP responds, yeah, to be fair to her, she's seen some horrendous stuff and a few years ago got injured in a car crash at work and has been part-time and office-bound since. She's physically okay and has said to me she used it as an excuse/reason to take a step back until her 25 years is up. Commenter 3. I mean, your friend originally acted from a place of hate and pain with the intent of proving to you and your other friends that all women suck. I'm glad your daughter, her aunt, and her grandma proved otherwise. I'm really sorry at how things played out, the hurt it's caused you, and the way it's shaken your life up. I'm also glad your daughter, the aunt and grandmother, all have your back in supporting you preserving your relationship with your daughter. Also, I'm glad you showed her one of the texts. OP responds, I had to show her one and I try to treat her as an adult. It was just hard to find a screenshot that wasn't explicit as she didn't need to see that. Commenter 4. Thank you for loving that little girl the best way you can. It's not her fault. My heart hurts for her. And you. OP responds, it's not hard to love her. She's incredible. My life is better with her in it. Commenter 5. Well, I'm glad at the very least your daughter and in-laws are on your side on this one. Sister-in-law not lying to her niece is an example of a woman with integrity. Mother-in-law offering her kitchen so you can spend time together baking is an example of a maternal figure who cares about her granddaughter above all. OP, get your divorce and use your village to keep being in your daughter's life. Your friend and soon-to-be ex-wife are pieces of shit, insecurities are not. But you're young and still able to start over someday while keeping the most important people in your life around. Overall, your future seems brighter now than on D-Day. Keep moving, soldier. OP responds, thank you. Her family have been terrific with me, to be honest. So, divorcing the wife, definitely on the table. Glad he can still maintain the relationship with the stepdaughter. But for the people saying that he shouldn't be mad at his friend, I'm gonna call bullshit on that because for months, he targeted his wife's insecurities and built the perfect person for her to fall in love with. I wouldn't be surprised if he actively targeted issues within their relationship and tried to essentially act as though his perfect person for her bridged those gaps, making him more appealing to her, actively pulling the strings at every step that he possibly could to pretty much prove to his friend, see look, I made for her the perfect guy for her to fall in love with, that's everything that you're not, and she fell for him, see she's a piece of shit. Then he did this for months, got nudes from her, didn't stop, continued doing so. If his goal was to really show that she was unfaithful and that she was willing to drop him at a moment's notice for another guy, the first nude would have been enough. I know the OP says he would have taken it as a joke, but it is still something that would have caused a conversation within the relationship and possibly opened OP's eyes. But the fact that he did this for months, getting nudes from OP's wife for months, and continued it until he eventually decided for a physical catfish, that's gross. Like, that's actually just gross behavior right there. Like, if we took OP out of the picture here and just made it so she was single and in a friend group, then a guy starts hitting on her and she begins getting flirty and, like, sending nudes to him, and then it turns out that the guy was actually in their friend group and she had been doing all of that with someone that she previously had no interest in, that's a massive violation right there. Don't get me wrong, I'm not defending the wife for cheating. What I'm saying is the people who are trying to say that OP should forgive that friend are 100% in the wrong. That guy's a fucking creep. And there are far more to his intentions than he's trying to let on with just, oh, I'm just doing this to catfish and show you. Then why'd you do it for fucking months and continued coaxing nudes out of her, dude? Seriously. Especially with the added cherry on top of him actively targeting all of her insecurities. It's vile. This post was collected by Direct Caterpillar 77, and their tagline is, Satan is not a pogo stick. The original OP is ditched and ignored, posted November 4th, 2016 to r/relationships. My, 23 female, boyfriend, 26 male, of 10 months, ditched me on our date. So last night my boyfriend and I were meant to go on a date, but it ended up turning into a sort of group thing with mutual friends. I was disappointed, seeing as we've barely had alone time and haven't had a date in over 2 weeks. My boyfriend reassured me that he will still make sure a part of it was a date for us, and that it will be fun, so I thought, why not? And we headed off to the pub. Things were going great for the most part. About 1 hour in, I had to go to the bathroom. The pub was busy and there was a line in the girls' bathroom, so I waited and I was in and out in about 10 minutes. Well, when I left the bathroom, I couldn't see my boyfriend or our friends anywhere, so I looked for them, and I still couldn't find them. I checked my phone and there were no texts from any of them. So I went to the bartender and just asked him if he saw them leave. He said they told him to let me know they left to go to a club, but he couldn't remember which one. I assumed the club we planned to go to. Anyway, I was really hurt by this. I was only gone 10 minutes, so they could have easily waited, and to make things worse, my boyfriend was the one who drove me there. So I either had the option to walk in the middle of the night by myself to get to the club or call an Uber, which I did. While I waited for the Uber, I shot my boyfriend a text asking him why he didn't wait for me and if they were at the club, but he didn't reply. I even sent a text to my best friend, but she didn't reply either. I called them as well, and again, neither of them answered. Anyway, it took a while for my Uber to arrive, and by this point I was tired and my boyfriend and my best friend still hadn't answered, so I just ended up going home. I showered, cooked myself some food, and then got ready for bed. By this time, it had been around an hour since I had left the club, and my boyfriend still hadn't replied to any of my texts or answered my calls. I was getting worried that maybe something happened, so I called him again. No answer. I called my best friend. No answer. And I ended up calling 2 other people there, and again, no answer. I ended up going on Facebook and saw one of the friends I had called had uploaded photos of all of them at a totally different club, not the one we planned to go to. I was so hurt and angry at this point, I just sent my boyfriend a text basically telling him how horrible it was for him to not even send me a text to let me know where they went. And I told him that for the foreseeable reference, not to drag me along somewhere just to ditch me by myself and not even bother to wait for me or even call me to make sure I'm okay. At this point, it really hit me how messed up all this was. Not only did they all ditch me, they went to a different club, so if I had went to the club we originally planned to go to, I'd be looking for them all night. It also really pissed me off that I was gone for over an hour and my boyfriend wasn't worried about me at all. Wouldn't most people be worried that they left their significant other at a pub and hadn't seen them in an hour? If situations were reversed, I would have checked my phone and called because I would have been worried. So, I ended up going to bed, and when I woke up, my phone was flooded with texts from my boyfriend. He apologized, saying the bartender was meant to tell me where they went and they couldn't hear the phones in the club. I replied back to him saying how messed up it was that he left me and how thoughtless he was by not even sending me a text. I told him it was ridiculous for him to rely on a bartender who was extremely busy to tell me something he should have told me himself. He texted again telling me he's sorry, that he didn't mean to ditch me, as well as a bunch of other excuses and apologies, but honestly, they just annoyed me more. Now, I'm not sure if I'm overreacting and making a big deal out of nothing. I'm also not sure if I should sort this out with my boyfriend and forgive him for this, or if I should just dump him. I'd really appreciate any advice. Too long didn't read, my boyfriend and I were meant to go on a date, but instead went to a pub with friends where they ended up ditching me and ignored all my calls and texts when I got worried. He sent me a bunch of texts apologizing, but now I'm not sure if I should forgive him or dump him. Relevant comments. Bam's a bear. You're not overreacting. What they did was unbearably rude and inconsiderate. You may want to rethink your choice of boyfriend and best friend. User BlueXCat comments, and I would dump them all, what the fuck? Hope he responds. I'm seeing him tonight and giving him a chance to explain in person, but I'm pretty certain that I'm going to end the relationship. User BlueXCat responds, I don't even see what explanation could make this okay. Like, for real. If they were gone to the hospital, okay, but they were clubbing and abandoned you. User Save Me Barry 67 comments, this is absolutely ridiculous behavior. I guess maybe if things had been completely perfect until now, then maybe you guys can get past it. But Most reasonable people would be fucking done after something like that. OP responds, "Things haven't been that perfect. I have problems with one of his female friends making very passive-aggressive comments towards me, and he would just downplay them or get annoyed when I defend myself. He also told her something private about me that I told him in confidence, but this happened early on in the relationship. I think I'm definitely done. It sucks, but I don't think I can forgive for what he did." OP updated the post the next day. "I've been texting one of my friends that was there last night, and she admitted that they all ditched me on purpose. They all decided at the pub that they wanted to do some hard drugs and they thought I'd kill the mood and that I'd be uncomfortable, so rather than doing the decent thing and giving me a heads up, they decided to completely ditch me and ignore me. Rather than wait to see him tonight, I called my boyfriend to see if he would admit to it, and he did. He said they were doing me a favor, and he knows I have a bad family history with drugs. 3 family members died from overdoses, which I still think is a poor excuse for what they did. They could have just been honest with me rather than basically abandoning me at the pub. I also asked him why did he ignore me, and he just said he wanted to enjoy himself without feeling guilty. He kept apologizing, but I was just done at that point. I broke up with him, and it's safe to say I will also be ending my friendships with my so-called friends. In all honesty, I wouldn't care if they were doing drugs as long as they were safe. In fact, I would have liked to be there just so I could keep an eye on them and make sure they stayed out of trouble. But oh well." It's also worth adding and mentioning just further that this was supposed to be a date night between her and her boyfriend, which then later turned into him abandoning her at the pub so he could go and do drugs with other friends and not have her kill the mood. With this being 10 years ago, I'm very curious to kind of know where they're all at in life right now, because I think OP made the right choice by walking away from that entire friend group, if I'm just gonna be honest there. Like, that whole conversation basically translates to, "Sorry, you weren't fun enough and we knew you'd be a downer. So when you went to the bathroom, we all planned just to leave you there and tell the bartender the wrong club, and also told you the wrong club initially, so that way there would be no chance you could interfere. And then despite you trying to text and call to find out what was going on and if we were okay, we all decided to collectively ignore you." That also doesn't even begin to touch on the earlier relationship drama that OP had with her boyfriend. I guarantee that the boyfriend probably ended up hooking up or dating the one girl that was kind of a bit of a problem that was mentioned briefly by OP, but I don't know if that actually would have gone anywhere. It's all just speculation at this point in time. Don't forget, this is brought to you by GamerSups. Use code ODDS at checkout. It's basically a caffeine powder that you put in your water, and I actually really like it. I use this on a daily basis. Don't forget that every purchase you make using code ODDS directly supports the channel. And if you want a personal recommendation from me, I would either recommend the Soda Pressing Pear or Dragon Fruit Punch. Those two are currently my favorite flavors. And as a note, once we sell a certain amount of stuff, I get my own flavor and my own cup, and you all know I'm gonna choose some degenerate shit that's gonna make their PR team squirm. My goal is to make them regret partnering with me. So please, use code ODDS at checkout to make my dream come true of making a PR team squirm.